All right, welcome back to Blue by 90. I'm Justin, joined by Jack and Caitlin. As always, it's May 1st. The draft is over with, the NFL draft, so we got to see a lot of Michigan guys taken, which was cool. But how you guys doing?
Tired. Woke up from a nap.
All
You
right.
better get some coffee.
Working on my coffee.
I just want to say thank you for being here. We're really blessed that you woke up and showed up.
You're welcome.
Let the record show it's about 2:30 p.m. on Sunday.
Hey, bro was the one that was late first. And I was like, all right, if this is what we're doing today, then I'm going to be late as well.
No. I also did nap, but I said, hey, I need 10 minutes. I was on here at 2:09. You showed up at like 2:20, then said, I need to go get coffee. Took an extra 15 minutes. It's almost 2:40 right now.
You know, just following the lead of our host here.
No, that's not how it goes. You're the give an inch, take a mile type of guy for sure.
Agreed. I'll take that.
It's very positive.
That was not a
striving for excellence.
That was not a compliment. Oh man. But yeah, it was a fun draft. Are you guys like draft people? Because I feel like there are people out there that are like they live for the NFL draft. Obviously, the crazy people that are there that are like painted up for the draft. But I feel like there are people even watching at home that are just like, I love 3 straight days, whatever it is, of like just Roger Goodell walking out there and Mel Kiper
getting booed.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I mean, I'm not really a big NFL guy. Like, I'm trying to get into it. I think doing fantasy football last year helped out. But no, I mean, you know, I was pumped to see Hutch go to the Lions, but after that, I was like, all right, cool. You know what I wanted happened.
Yeah, honestly, I watch maybe like the first 10 picks like live, and then I just kind of like track it on my phone. Because like the first 10 picks is what you want to see. It's like the super high caliber guys. Everybody like wants to track their careers. But after that, like it's just like fun surprises.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely agree. That's exactly how I am. Like I think there's like some excitement of the first maybe like 5 picks or something like that on Thursday night, and like people are going crazy in Vegas and all that stuff. Especially if there's a surprise, right? If somebody like either trades up or like takes somebody, you know, honestly, social media has ruined the draft for me a little bit too, because all these people just tweet out the pick like a minute before Roger Goodell gets out there. And then I'm like, okay, I know it was way worse like a few years ago where Schefter and Rappaport were like legitimately like 15 minutes early, like source confirms that they're taking this, and it's like, this is no fun. It's like the NCAA tournament bracket getting leaked.
What, like the tournament's happening in the future and then you're watching the game for no reason? Is that what you're talking about?
No. There was a year where it's like during the selection show, the brackets got leaked like 5 minutes before, so everyone knew what was going on. And so then it's like, you know, when they're like making it a super tense situation of people like, you know, trying like the teams are waiting to see if everyone already knew. So it was like very awkward.
For me, I love that. I'm like, I just want to get the information. I don't care how I get it. If I get it before everybody else, great. Perfect.
Yep. Yeah. I'm in. You don't need to make everything into a huge show.
Right.
I don't need commercials on every single thing in the world.
No.
Brought to you by Blue by 90.
Mm-hmm.
Unless they want to pay us, then I will watch those commercials. I want as many commercials as possible. So no free ads though. But I mean, Hutchinson going 2 and being, I obviously like it was I wish that he would have went 1, because that would have been sweet to have Aiden and a Michigan guy go number 1 overall. That's like incredible. But him to be able to drop to the Lions and stay home was the best case scenario. He still got a ton of love, and now he plays in Detroit.
I do love that like all of the Michigan State people are like, oh, he's so overrated. Kenneth Walker like ran for this many yards. So like, we had a couple people coming to work the other day, and the only people that said anything about Hutch, like, oh, we're state fans. I'm like, okay, cool, great. Like, your guy got drafted by the Seahawks in like the 30th round. Like, nobody cares.
I also I don't think that Aiden is that hateable. He
He's
never
not.
did
How do you
any,
hate that
he never
guy?
talk shit about Michigan State, did he? He just wears maize and blue so they hate him. I get that to an extent. Like, there are Michigan State guys out there that I just hate because they play for them, right?
Mhm.
But I don't know. I feel like it's a good pick. He's a good player. Like, he's not like the dickhead that Hunter Dickinson is. That makes I understand why
he's not a
Michigan
villain.
State, yeah, like Hunter Dickinson's talking shit to Tom Izzo. Like, Aiden's not doing that to Mel Tucker,
No.
So
He just loves to compete, right? And it's like, at some point, how can you hate that?
for sure. And I do kind of love that now they have to, those State fans that are also Lions fans have to root for him. And I think there are crazy enough State fans out there that they'll root for him to suck in order
100%.
For him, they want him to be a bust, even for their own team.
Yeah, just to be like, oh, another Michigan guy fucking sucks.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. I remember I used to work with this guy who was a big Buckeye fan, and he was from Cleveland area, so he was a big Browns fan. And a few years ago when they picked Jabril Peppers in the draft, he was always like, man, that guy's overrated, blah, blah, blah. And then he saw him 2 preseason games. He was like, okay, that guy's pretty good.
Unbelievable. Well, so the next guy that got drafted was Dax Hill. So we were talking about him going possibly round 1/round 2. He ended up at the end of round 1 going to the Bengals. I feel like it's a good situation for him. Him going round 1 with his size, I think, is huge because he's only going to get bigger and stronger. And I think he could be solid in the NFL. But, with him being he still looks like a stick. He's still very skinny. So I don't know. That was sweet to see him, have 2 guys go round 1 is pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm. I feel bad for Joe Burrow, though. That was the Bengals' first pick, right? They didn't get him any help on the offensive line.
After he's had 2 years there of just running for his life, including a fucking torn ACL because of it.
Right.
Wouldn't you, if you're Joe Burrow, be like, I demand, either you do this or I demand a trade or something.
Yeah,
I know
or I'm gonna sit out. Like
something. I'm not gonna risk my health forever for this Cincy team that doesn't care about it, But
tough for him.
I was actually not pissed about that pick. I mean, because I think Dax is such a flexible player on defense. He's going to be a huge help to that, Cincinnati defense.
And you never know. Maybe he can play O-line too. Maybe they'll beef him up.
What if all of a sudden Dax Hill
350? What the fuck happened to this guy?
Well, turns out we screwed up. We thought we turned in the wrong card. We thought we were picking an O-lineman, and we're going with it no matter what.
They literally picked our team's fastest player and turned him into an O-line.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
God damn.
Wow. I'm watching a thing about the Jags owner, Shad Khan. Have you guys seen his mustache?
Dude, he's got the best mustache
Next
in the game.
level.
That could have been
my
your mustache,
God.
but you're afraid to grow it out.
I am afraid.
Too sexy.
I was too sexual. The sexual aura coming from my body was way too much.
Overpowering.
Walked into Kroger and there were some moms that dropped their groceries.
Use my Kroger points. Let me buy your stuff.
That is a hell of a mustache, honestly, on Shad Khan.
It is.
So then Ajabo goes in the early second round too. I mean, they literally said on his call, hey, we would have taken you round 1 if it wasn't for your injury. So I think everyone kind of knew that. But go to the Ravens to play for John Harbaugh and Mike McDonald.
What
another one
face though. We would have taken you if it wasn't for your injury.
I kind of thought that
wound,
too,
man. Don't tell him that.
that when I was watching that was my reaction, like, because then Ajabo was like, he wasn't like thank you after that. He was kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah, good for you for getting me later and giving me less money.
Right. Oh, cool.
Asshole.
Whatever. So either way, I think it's still like a perfect situation for him. He plays for Mike McDonald, so he probably has a longer leash there, like than any other place with the injury. So even if he's not, 100%, they're gonna know that, like, all right, he's still building it back up too.
Josh Ross too,
Josh Ross
as a free agent, right? Or did he get drafted?
Free agent. Yep,
that's awesome for him. I was pumped to see that he was getting picked up, and then another guy, probably a little bit longer of a leash just because of the connection with McDonald.
Dude, I tweeted out yesterday. I was like, the new recruiting pitch to Michigan recruits has got to be just like,
pipeline.
I don't care. You will go to the Ravens even if nobody else wants you at all. We'll get you, like, at least, like, you can at least be like the water boy on the Ravens, like at the very least. Okay.
We gotta get some like iron-on patches for our Michigan shirts of just like the Ravens logo.
100%.
Oh my god.
Somebody's gotta, like, either you, Jack, or Swanky, or somebody's got to do like a Michigan Ravens logo, like, combined somehow.
Oh yeah.
I like that.
That would be amazing. I will say it's got to be an advantage to Michigan, right? Like, everyone, I think there are people that, like, out there, usually Ohio State or Michigan State fans, that are like, oh, that's just like, they shouldn't be able to utilize that. And it's like, why? Like, why not? What do you want, Jim to just not talk to his own brother? What do you want there?
Oh man.
But I think it's a great connection now, especially that McDonald's back there too. And then let's see, Haskins went next. I think Haskins 4th round to the Titans.
I mean, that's a perfect situation for him.
There's zero chance that he has to, like, go in and start, right? Which I think is good. He can sit behind one of the best running backs in the NFL right now, learn and build it up, and then, like, maybe have work himself into the lineup.
Yeah, get him on that King Henry workout plan. Get him a little more beefed up, get him a little more physical. Yeah, I think that's a perfect fit for him.
Yeah, have you did you guys see Taylor Lewan's video? That was hilarious.
That was fucking awesome.
Llewellyn, like, recorded a video to Vrabel. He just put it on Twitter, but to Vrabel. Mike Vrabel's the coach of the Titans, and he's an Ohio State guy, Ohio State alum. And he's, like, basically just talking shit to him. He's like, thank you for putting aside your allegiance to Ohio State, as this guy ran all over your team for 5 touchdowns on the 3rd week of November. So you got a good one, but I just appreciate, you putting this aside. Once again, he ran all over you. He used, I can't remember the word he used in it, but it was a funny word too.
Oh man. The way that guy talks, and it's like presents stories and all that shit cracks me up, man.
He's a character. He's a character that sometimes it's a bit over the top for myself, but that's from personal experience. So, hey, he knows how to hold a room. That's for sure. He will have the attention on himself no matter what. I promise you that.
Oh yeah.
And then Stuber, I think, was the last pick, I believe, like, actual pick in the draft to the Patriots.
Patriots, right? Yep.
Not a bad place to be either.
No, got him reunited with Big Mike on the whole line.
Yeah, that's actually awesome for them too. Like, I feel like that's an underrated thing that people don't talk about, especially on the O-line. Like, if you are comfortable with somebody in the play calls and, like, knowing, that type of thing, audibles, like, that's huge.
Yeah.
Wait, what? I'm sorry, I got confused for a second. What are you talking about?
Mike Onwenu is on the line with him.
Right.
I'm saying, like, they know each other well, and so that they, like, already have familiarity with each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Love it. I'm sorry. I don't know why that was so confusing for me.
Oh my
I
god.
think when you called out the audibles, I was like, that's what threw me off.
Well, they have like lineman audibles. Do you know like about who they're gonna block?
Oh,
They have to call out like, hey, you've got this guy, I've got this guy, but they have calls for it.
That's true because most teams, some guys they speak different languages. They don't all speak English, so they might not understand the words. So I get what you're saying. That's a good point.
What are you talking about?
This is unreal. The fact that you're trying to turn this into me being stupid is unbelievable because you're the biggest moron on this fucking planet.
No, when you meet somebody, you can't hear what they're saying until you get to know them. So I'm helping you with your point.
How can I mute this guy? Is there a way that I can mute him on here?
I think that was really good insight. The people will love that one.
I actually did mute him.
Asshole.
The Pats, though, not the same team it used to be. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just throwing that out there.
That's very true. It's not Tom Brady's Pats. Like, what would you just
What
do?
are we talking about right now? This is incredible. This is what we live for. I love that. I was waiting for an explanation behind that. It's like, I'll just throw that out there.
I'm with Caitlin. Why is that wrong?
I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just it was just funny the way it was said. I appreciate it.
I don't know. All you said was that it's not like the old Patriots where they dominate every year. They missed the playoffs for the first time last year.
Yeah, I mean, did you see him when Cam Newton was playing QB? They did not look very clean out there.
They did not look good.
It was pretty rough. So I'm just saying, going to the Patriots in years past, you'd be like, okay, he's set. That guy's getting a ring. Now you're like, he's going to the Patriots? We'll see.
True.
Okay.
Very true. Very true.
Who did the Patriots get as their backup QB? They drafted a QB.
Did they?
Yeah, I thought so. Was it Ritter? Did Ritter go to the Patriots?
Might be.
Or did he go to the Falcons? Malik Willis? Where'd he go?
Ritter went to the I think he did go to the Falcons.
Bailey Zappi. Zappi went to the Patriots. That's
that kid from Western Kentucky who just slung it.
Lit up.
He set every record imaginable in passing yards.
Yeah.
They actually, I'm pretty sure, was it them that threw for 500 yards on MSU this year too?
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
Now they also
A
don't
lot of
run
people did that
at all. So
what do you say?
They also don't run the ball at all. They're straight up air raid or whatever.
Yeah. 100%.
It's fun.
I don't hate it. I don't hate that pick though. It's guys like that I don't know, somehow they find a way and can make it happen. So all right, and then the last couple guys that let's see. Donovan Jeter, I almost said Derek Jeter. Donovan Jeter went to the Steelers. Chris Hinton went to the Giants. Let's see. Where did Vince Gray go?
Saints, I think. Is that right?
I think you are right.
I don't know. So Vince Gray and Hinton, were they both seniors?
Hinton was not. Yeah, he might have quote unquote graduated in 3 years, but
Gotcha.
Hinton was not. Gray did graduate.
Gray was.
He still could have come back for a 5th year, but he decided not to.
Curious with guys like that when you're not, you go as a free agent. Why wouldn't you just stick around if you can play another year?
Yeah, the Hinton one baffles me. I don't understand because I'm sorry. I think he did solid this year, but it wasn't hey, I'm ready for the NFL.
Yeah.
I don't think Vince Gray was either, but also I can kind of see Vince Gray had a pretty dang good year, especially coming off his 2020 year. He might have been this is the ceiling, let's see what I can do. And he's been there for 4 years. So sometimes guys are just I'm ready for the next step, no matter what that is. So, Yeah, interesting. It's tough. I think a lot of those guys, like you get a million people in your ear and you get a lot of information. And like for Vince Gray too, like Will Johnson's coming in, DJ Turner's got the other side locked up. Like, I think Jamon Green is also like, maybe he's like, I don't want to be the super senior that gets passed up by a freshman that comes in. I don't know. There's a lot to it for sure.
Yeah, a lot of factors.
Yeah. Let's see. Anything else with the draft you guys wanted to cover? Because I think like the only thing was that the only other thing I wanted to touch on was Ohio State went. I know Jameson Williams went to Alabama, and he did say, I don't claim Ohio State, which I love. Everybody that transfers out of Ohio State fans, they try to say like, oh yeah, this guy was in our room. And then that person is like, fuck no. No, I'm out. I just went and started for Bama and like won an SEC championship there. But they did have, at one point, Ohio State did have 10, 11, and 12, all wide receivers in that room, which is fucking crazy, man.
And then that Smith and Jigba, when he goes, he's going to be a top
5,
10, 15 pick probably. I mean, he's like insane.
Yeah. Don't want to leave out Donovan Jeter, undrafted free agent to the Steelers.
I think you mentioned that.
I think I did say that.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay. I missed it.
Yeah, no, I think that's good. I imagine that like with those types of wide receivers that Ohio State must have like put up a lot of points on Michigan. They had to have, right? With because next year CJ Stroud is already slotted as the number 1 QB there too, right?
It's true. Yeah, they put up good stats as far as yards go, but not enough touchdowns.
Huh.
I think they lost by like 2 touchdowns.
I feel like
17 points.
Yeah, I don't know, 42, 27, something
15
like
points.
that.
I would more than 2 touchdowns.
If I remember right,
not a good luck.
I think like there was like one guy on Michigan that scored more points than like their whole team or something. If I remember it right, I might be wrong. I don't know. I haven't really paid attention to that.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. Well, moving on. Let's talk about this basketball team because
jeez,
I don't know what's going on. We got to break the whole thing down because it's like I'm a little concerned, to be honest, with
really
everything that's going down. I'm not going to be Mr. Negative. I know you already are thinking that, but it's just it seems like a lot of movement, a lot of drama right now. So
let's hear it. What you got?
Where do we start? Let's start with Taran Shannon. Start with Taran Shannon Jr. Ends up, I mean, for the last 2 weeks, it's been like everything that I've been told from like really, really good people that know it's a done deal. He's like already on campus essentially, like already hanging with the boys. It's over. And then all of a sudden he receives a crystal ball to Illinois and commits there on Twitter or Instagram or whatever, like 5 minutes later out of nowhere. And everyone was like, what just happened? And this is right after Jaelin Llewellyn, apparently, like there was a tweet out there that the guard from Princeton, is now committing to Michigan. So like this is all going down on Friday afternoon. And apparently what happened with Taran Shannon Jr. was Texas Tech, he needed like 2 more classes or something in the spring here, like spring semester. So for him to become a grad transfer, which is how Michigan like needed to get him, because Michigan, you miss admissions. It is what it is. It's like they just you can only transfer so many credits and so a certain type of credits and blah blah blah. Anyway, so he needed that. Texas Tech's coach, I guess, like pulled his scholarship or something and blocked him from taking those classes in the spring, so he couldn't go to Michigan.
That's wild.
I mean,
up.
That's like the dirtiest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, that's Bush League.
Yeah, I mean, if that's true, and I'm a recruit, I'm staying the fuck away from Texas Tech.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, you are gonna run into these situations more often. Like, with the transfer portal, you're gonna have guys come in and out. That's just a fact for every team out there. You need to be able to handle it well, and that's not handling it well.
No.
The craziest part of that whole thing might have been Hunter Dickinson's tweet as well.
I love it. Just outspoken. He's that platform, call that fucking guy out.
Does not give a fuck. He tweeted tagged Texas Tech's coach in it, and then basically called him a coward and everything, and said he's like effective. He did call him a coward, and then he's like ruining young kids' lives, things like that. Jay Sauer put out a tweet too. He didn't tag him, but he did put out a cryptic tweet about it as well.
Yeah.
So, like, that sucks because it feels like then we could have had both Taran Shannon Jr. and Jaelin Llewellyn, but only get Jaelin Llewellyn from that. And now we have to play Taran Shannon Jr. too, which sucks. But whatever, it's done, I guess. So it is what it is. But I do think the Jaelin Llewellyn thing is a good thing. If I went back and I've watched his highlights and stuff. Dude can score. Dude can score. Yeah, I know it's the Ivy League again. That's like, I guess, where we just keep going to. But
worked out for us last time.
It did. And I think he's better than Mike Smith, to be honest.
Yeah.
He's more versatile. He's bigger. He can get to the rim, but he can shoot as well. So I'm pretty pumped about him.
Yeah, for sure. So we got Jaelin Llewellyn, Taran Shannon Jr., Gonzo, Frankie Collins, transfer portal. I think that's what shocked everybody. Have you heard anything behind the scenes on that?
No, I have not. That part sucks. I'm sad about it. I'll be honest, and I'm kind of indifferent about it, or not really indifferent, but like I can see both sides more. I can see being pissed off that, like, hey, I showed myself at the end of this last season. Like, I feel like I can step up into that role, coach. Why are you going to like get somebody that could take away those minutes from me?
So Jaelin Llewellyn's a point guard then.
They call him a combo guard. He was basically just Princeton's best player, so he didn't like bring the ball up every time. But then when they got across half court, they just give him the ball, and then he'd like make a move.
Gotcha.
So he can play point, and I believe now for sure he will. But I think that there were minutes to go around for Frankie Collins. I think he could have like not only gotten the starting point guard spot possibly still, but he also could have just like, there's still minutes, dude. I don't know. Like, that's why it's wild. So I get it where he's like, he might be a little bit hurt by that, but also like, you can't be just scared by a little competition. If you've got the leg up here, you've been here for a year, like, you should be able to say like, hey, I'm gonna stay my ground type of thing.
Yes, I mean, obviously we're speculating on why he transferred and whatnot, but it reminds me of that Dr. Pepper commercial, and it's like that kid Rico. His name was Rico. And he's like, Rico's time is now. It's like, Rico, you're only a sophomore. You still have time. My time is now. He jumps in the transfer portal.
Yeah. The other thing, I need to fact check this before I say it actually. But I heard that Frankie Collins actually has been to like 4 schools in 5 years, including like high schools and academies and a lot of things like that. It's a little bit of a red flag. No,
I don't know. I feel like kids move around all the time to get like better competition and stuff, at least in high school. I mean, we see like JJ went to fucking IMG. Obviously, he only moved schools once. So yeah, I mean, if he's moving one every year, then I guess depending how it goes, could be a red flag. I feel like we didn't hear much about that. That was the first time I've ever heard anything about it. So I don't know.
All right, I got it here. His 247 sports profile lists 3 high schools: Compass Prep in Chandler, Arizona; Ed W. Clark in Clark, Nevada; and Coronado in Nevada. So
What does that mean?
I don't know. I don't
No.
want to read too far into that. Like you said, high school is weird. You can kind of just like bounce around almost like the AAU when you're at that level of basketball. But like that could be something where he's just like dips at the first, issue.
Could be.
Or maybe he moved. Who knows?
Or maybe moved. Yeah.
Maybe he's following his parents. I have no idea. Honestly, that could very well be. So the thing that I worry about is also on Friday. So Frankie, Kobe Buffkin, T. Will, and Isaiah Barnes on that Friday all took Michigan stuff out of their bios on like Twitter and Instagram. Now they've all put them back in at this point, but not Frankie obviously now. But like. I think there's more. There are more dominoes that are about to fall here.
That is interesting. Yeah, I mean that to me says that there's something going on. Who did you say it was? Kobe Buffkin, Terrence Williams,
Isaiah Barnes.
I mean, it's weird.
I mean,
That's for
Kobe,
sure.
T. Will, and Frankie all got play this year. Isaiah Barnes did not, so I'd understand that one more. But like, I don't know. It's interesting with Diabate and Houston declaring as well, because there's just like a lot of uncertainty right now. That's why I'm concerned. There's just like there could be it's super late in the like cycle for the guys to be hitting the portal, and for us, if those guys do hit the portal and we've got to go get somebody, there's like not a whole lot out there.
Positive vibes only. This is what I think happened. They heard or whatever that Amani might be coming to Michigan. Maybe they don't like Amani, and they're like, "Fuck you, coach. You're gonna ruin our culture. I'm pissed off, and this is what I'm gonna do."
Yeah, I don't.
Possibility.
Possibility. Maybe.
Well, how is that positive vibes only?
Because Amani's good. And then if he comes to Michigan, then we can like say, give shit to all the Sparties out there.
Thank you, Kaylin. Thank you, Kaylin.
That's how it's positive vibes.
You can't just say positive vibes only and just.
It's like, that
doesn't make it positive.
Makes it positive.
Well, that was my turn to be confused. I was like,
there you go.
What are you talking about?
I like it.
At least that was a good thing to be confused on, Kaylin. It made sense to be confused. So I know Ant Wright came out and said that Imani was like coming. He straight up said that. I checked with people, and I know for a fact that like a week ago, Imani was like literally not on the whiteboard of people to go get in Michigan's locker room. I know that for a fact. So
sources.
I also know that as of last Friday, like still there wasn't Imani talk inside Michigan other than like Twitter. So I don't think that's happening still. There's a couple reasons why. This is what the person said. They said UMich admissions it'd be wild if UMich admissions took Imani because when you look at the address listed for Ipsy Prep High School, it's an interesting spot. AKA, it doesn't exist.
Is it just like his home address or something?
Literally, yes, something like that. Like he did it to play basketball, and there's like 5 guys on in the whole school,
right?
So like that'd just be a real stretch. Like if admissions is not getting these guys that like have 100 credits from Texas Tech, like how are they going to do that? I also just think, dude, Imani's such a train wreck at this point, and he's not even that good. Yes, I'm sure he's still a good basketball player, but like what we saw last year, is that worth it for Juwan to bring in?
I don't know. It's a fair question to be asked.
Yeah. So, it is what it is, but I don't think that's going to happen still. I'd be shocked if that happened still. But maybe maybe if like Kobe and T Will leave, he's like, I need somebody to fill in the gaps here. But there's no way Imani's coming in and playing like a role player role.
But maybe.
No.
That ain't happening, bro. That ain't happening, bro.
All right.
I am with you.
There's a chance for anything.
I am with you. This isn't positive vibes only. This is separate. But I am with you. I'm here for Imani coming to Michigan strictly for the chaos.
Oh yeah.
Strictly for everything that it would cause between Michigan and Michigan State, and like him going to the Breslin next year would be the fucking wildest thing of all time.
Electric.
That would be. It would be must-see TV, legitimately.
It almost sounds like you're on a podcast and you would love for it to happen so you have something to talk about nonstop.
We need content over here. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I would love that shit because it would just be the memes, the GIFs, the interactions. Like, would be thinking about Hunter Dickinson and Imani going into the Breslin next year.
Fuck. Hey, I mean, that could be a lethal duo, dude.
I don't know, man. I have no idea, but I'm here for it. If it happens, I won't be mad. I promise you. Like, it'll just
I'll
be
take that.
It'll be wild. All right. Anything else we got to talk about there? Oh, I guess with Diabate and Houston, you know, if I had to guess right now, Houston's coming back and Diabate's leaving. I've heard that like Diabate is like probably he could get picked up in the first round.
Really?
People love his like potential because he's
got a lot of potential.
7 foot, hasn't put anything on yet, has like offensive moves, can move really well, can dribble. So I think they see him as like we can work with that. As opposed to, I think like Hunter Dickinson is probably Hunter Dickinson, right? Like he is what he is. He can maybe, you know,
he can
get a few more moves.
I mean,
but I think
greatly from last year. You know, if he can take that step again this year and, you know, really nail down that right hand and get a couple more moves, I mean, I can't think of much else he'd have to work on after that.
I'm just saying. I think Diabate has way more potential than Hunter Dickinson has.
Yeah, I mean, especially just based off his athleticism, 100%.
Yeah, I always thought that he just needed to put on weight, and like you can do that at the pro level too. So,
yeah, like yes, Cam Sanderson would be good for him. I think I talked about this on a pod a few weeks ago. Like people don't understand that like the G League is a good route still for guys, even if you like aren't going to play. You know, even if you aren't going to start for the Warriors day one, the G League's a good route to just go play basketball, not have to worry about writing a fucking essay on econ. You know, I don't know. It's a good route. So,
I mean, I'm with you there.
Yeah.
You know, I'd never fucking like school. I think for me, I'd be like, yeah, I'll, you know, let's say I am, if I was in Hunter Dickinson's position.
Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah, let me just get out of here.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about 21-year-old me, and
I can get paid, and I don't have to do schoolwork, and I can just do whatever I want.
Yes.
All right.
Is he like not projected to get drafted at all, Hunter Dickinson?
No, he's not on the draft boards.
Wow.
Still wild to me.
Honestly, though, either is Diabate really. He's like late second if. Like the things I've heard about him going to the draft is like not like on NBA mock boards. It's more like there are a couple teams that are like really interested in him. But it's kind of wild that like he's one of the top 5-10 players in college basketball right now.
Exactly. That's why I'm like, what? Like it doesn't compute to me. But that's why I'm fucking sitting here on a podcast.
You're putting your data in there and analytics.
Hey, I'm the guy that says watch the game tape, don't look at the combine stuff. So like when I'm watching game tape, I'm like he's overpowering everybody, you know.
You're just like Alan in The Hangover, like doing math.
Yeah.
Okay,
Got my Rain Man on.
You're just stuck in the year 1980 while every NBA team has like 50 data analytics people on their staff at this point, putting together all these things.
I mean, I'm with Moneyball, don't get me wrong. Get the value, look at all the numbers and all that stuff. And, maybe that's what it is with Dickinson. But,
I just love Moneyball because it makes me cry usually.
That's it.
I mean, how can you not be romantic about baseball?
See what you did there.
Told you. All right. So I assume that this is all going to play out like this week or something.
When is the NBA draft?
Well, those guys
draft combine.
So like Diabate in Houston, I think it's June 1st. I want to say that they have to declare like, all right, I'm either going to the draft or I'm coming back. But I don't know. I feel like Juwan's in a weird spot right now. Yeah.
He's got he really has no idea what's going to happen next himself, right? So how do you plan for your team going down the stretch here?
Look at the guys that are there, I guess. I mean, don't forget, we've got a great recruiting class coming in. We got Jett Howard, Greg Glenn. Greg Glenn just won some award for a tournament he was in, like best big man.
And Jett Howard just won the MVP.
Yeah, Jett Howard's going to be a fucking monster next year.
At the AI Classic. Did you see that video that we posted of the AI thing? Like,
yeah, that was sick.
I'm sorry. I know they're the Howards and I know they're like up there, but that's fucking Allen Iverson. Like,
right.
When we were 12 years old, every single person had the AI 3, like the Reeboks. Like, that's
the
not
arm
just
sleeves, the wristbands.
Oh,
you have white kids with cornrows. Like, it's incredible.
He's like legitimately probably a top 5 icon in basketball.
Oh, for
Changed
sure.
the game.
Yeah.
He was like definitely the coolest basketball player. Like, nobody even really was on the same level, I remember.
Dude, no. And
we talk about practice. Not a game.
Not a game. He changed the game there too, because he like was incredible. Like, didn't care. Like he like didn't lift weights ever. And never like listen to the coaches. They had to change the dress code. David Stern changed the dress code because AI had too much drip. Legitimately. He was too cool.
Too drippy.
And they had to all wear suits on the end of the bench because he was looking too fucking cool. So
in his early 2000s drip.
Mm-hmm. It was like
baggy tees.
Oh my god, the bagginess, like everything would just touch the floor. The best part of those is like 2003 draft day, like the NBA draft suits that they had.
They're awesome. Those were awesome. You could jump off the top of a building and make it down safely because there was so much fabric to catch. Just how baggy they were.
Oh man, like that was a wild sauce.
That's awesome. Is that a fur coat? Is that mink?
Oh yeah.
Oh, incredible. I will say, you already said it, Jack, but the finger sleeves that like him and Kobe wore. Right? What is that? I don't know what it was, but I was the nerdiest white boy from Hudsonville, Michigan, and I like got a finger sleeve. And I was so bad at basketball. I was like, he was iconic. So for Jett Howard to be able to be like hugging him, and AI is like, dude, Unc, I've got you anytime. Like, your dad's the coolest person out there, the best guy. And like, you call me anytime. That's fucking sick.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
So, yes. And then going back to the recruiting class, like we didn't even talk about Terrace Reed. He could be the best player out of all of them, honestly.
Yeah.
So I do think Jett Howard could come in and maybe play day one, which would make things very interesting with, the Houston, the Llewellyn thing.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, Doug McDaniel, I've heard, is like possibly a day one starter as well.
He's legit too, man.
Guard.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, we've seen these guys play that, currently we have uncertainty about and we don't know what's going on, but out of this recruiting class, I mean, there's a bunch of talented young freshmen. So I mean, either way, it'll be fun to watch. It'll be a fun season to watch. That's how I feel about it.
Oh, it will be. I feel like we're gearing towards like Michigan becoming like you need to make a Hard Knocks like Amazon series about them.
That'd be fun.
Think about the behind the scenes that went on this year with the whole Juwan thing, and now like all this. There's always something going down with Michigan basketball right now.
I'm for it. I'm all for it.
Yeah, I mean the other part too is like with the whole recruiting thing and figuring out the roster, like we're 100% in like Calipari one and done type recruiting. Like every guy that's coming in is a 4 or 5 star, right? So they're, that's why I think it's interesting with who's leaving or saying they're leaving or staying, like what's going on there, because like you said, these recruiting classes are like going to come in and A, they're going to be good enough to play, but B, they're probably not like cool with sitting on the bench for too long. Right.
Yeah. I mean, even we see that with Frankie. Again, speculation, that's what we think is the reason he's transferring for. But that's right. That's going to happen when you bring in more talented guys. Like if that's what you're looking for is more talent, you're probably going to have, some egos or, guys that are like, hey, like I'm coming here to play. And if anything changes that, like I'm out, which I get. I understand. Good for you. Like that's why I love the transfer portal for these athletes. It gives them the power to make their own decisions. So I mean, do what you got to do. I think Frankie will ball out. I could see Frankie going to like a MAC school and like killing.
I actually think he could be higher than that. I think
he could too. But if this is how it's playing out, where he's transferring from Michigan, where we think he would probably still get a good amount of playing time, maybe he's like, I want to be a 35, 40 minute a game guy. He'd go right down the road, Eastern Michigan Eagles, baby.
Him and Imani to Eastern. That would be incredible. I would fucking go to the Conva Center
every game,
every day.
What are the odds on that?
Dude, he was like kind of talking about Imani was at least kind of talking about Eastern like throughout his recruiting process. I wish he would have like gotten like, hey, I'm going to get 2 other guys, like 2 other 5 stars. We're going to go to Eastern. That would have been, IFSI would have been the place to be.
Dude, for sure.
Oh, gosh.
That would have been sick. I also wonder, like, how many times are we going to, like, will that type of thing happen here in the future? Like, it's already kind of happened at some of these HBCUs, right? Like, are they going to, like, I do too. There's going to be, so I think the cool thing about the portal is some of these like lower level teams are just going to have random years that are sick, and it's going to make like the tournament super interesting. It's going to make TV just watching super interesting. That's going to be something. And it could be like literally year by year. Like they could be 1-19 on the year one year, and then the next year they go 19-1 because they bring in a sick class,
right?
In a lower conference.
Yeah, so. Like I know I've seen just some stuff on Twitter about especially with that Pitt receiver transferring to USC, like talking about NIL transfer portal, like it's ruining college athletics. Like I could be wrong. I haven't seen one former college athlete or anything say anything on that. It's just like the, people like us that are just like outside of it and like, oh, we don't like how this is going, but it gives so much power to the athletes. And like, that's what it's all about. Like, I love it. If you give the athletes what they deserve, they're the ones that are giving you the entertainment,
Yeah.
I think, now, do you think they should only have like a one-time transfer kind of stipulation to it? Without,
I think there's, they're just working within the rules right now. I think that's on the people that, that's on the NCAA that they didn't, it's their fault. They weren't prepared enough and, released this. They should have looked into it a little bit more, gave it a little more regulations. And, I don't know when they can change the rules or start that, but obviously you kind of have to see how it goes to see what you have to do too. So I wouldn't be opposed to that. You're still giving them power, but yeah, you don't want to see a guy jump around every fucking year.
I think that's going to happen, honestly, because the NCAA, they clearly, when they made the NFL or NIL and the transfer portal like rules, they were basically like, you guys wanted this. We're not going to police it. So here you go. And now it's just the fucking Wild West. So I do like the idea of it, but I think that it needs to have like a lot more like structure to it. Otherwise, it's just going to be chaos forever. So,
or I guess I want to pick your brain on it a little bit, like for what, because I don't disagree with you, but what do you, I guess, for what purpose do you believe that they need to have more structure to it? And are you against the chaos or do you like the chaos?
I like the chaos from like a
fan perspective.
Me liking entertainment,
right?
But I think if you like want for the greater good of college basketball and college football, I think there needs to be some more structure. And I think the reason for that is like it's just going to turn into free agency, and there's going to be shit that's going down behind. Like there's going to be like fraud and like tampering. Like Lincoln Riley is literally just like tampering with this Pitt kid, and so then all of a sudden there's going to be like these super teams like. There already are, obviously, with Bama and Georgia and, whoever, and Kentucky and Duke.
But not like it wasn't before.
I know. I'm just saying, like, I think that there's just going to be, like, shitty people out there. Like, here's the thing. A John Beilein and a Tom Izzo won't exist in this new college athletics world because you won't be able to do it the right way.
Here's what I think. I think I agree with you there. I think there's definitely teams that will struggle with it and coaches that have a particular way that they work with things and whatnot. But I also think it creates a lot more opportunities because let's say they do need people to police it. Boom, there's more jobs. You're creating more jobs there. Let's say there are coaches like Beilines and Izzos and whatnot that, that are at higher schools and they thrive off having people that are in the system longer and, developing and, you get the chemistry with all the players and, that helps out the 3-star, 4-star guys as opposed to the 5 stars. I think when you see college athletics or even just college basketball in general, like switching up kind of just like it goes through waves. Like some teams do better at sometimes then like right away, maybe the 5-star guys going to one school and they have a big year, but then you see the Beeline teams where it's like full of seniors and then they have a big year and they take over. And then that's how they sell that to other players. I guess, I don't know. I think there's always a positive to, any bad situation. Right. And
you're thinking positively,
right, baby. Positive vibes only. Stamp it on my forehead. So I think people are making it a bigger deal than it really needs to be. But obviously because it's something to talk about and creates content and, there's coverage of it. I also along for the ride. I love it. I love seeing what happens with it and how it develops. And I hope, people can just keep up with it. Guys like Izzo and Beeline, like, hey, if you don't know how to handle this NIL stuff, hire somebody in that can do it for you and you still do your job,
Yeah. I also do think that the portal and that type of stuff, it's going to plateau. It'll even out over the next 5-10 years because data is going to come out and be like, hey, you are less likely to start or get minutes or be successful if you hit the portal.
Exactly.
Because like there's going to be these guys that are like just bouncing around. And I think the majority of them like don't pan out to be great, right? So like there's going to be some data out there that's like if you stay 4 years, you have X% chance to make the NBA. If you stay 3 years, if you stay, there's going to be that type of stuff. And there's going to be a sweet spot of, I think, probably like it'll be like 2.5, I think, or low 2s of like, if you stay this many years in college, then you have a better chance. But yeah, until then, who knows?
Right. No, but I'm with you, right? Like there's not enough data for people to know what is actually going to come of, or like what the probability of, what's going to happen from the decision they make. And, we just kind of have to let it play out and gather data. And, once it's out there, people will be able to make more informed decisions. But, we just don't know because it's so brand new.
Yep. It'll be interesting. I think the biggest thing is like, it'll be interesting to see how the fans like this product.
Mm-hmm.
Will there be like a decline in viewership because of a lot of the stuff? And that, of course, viewership equals money, and money dictates everything. So they'll figure it out if that's the case, if all of a sudden people aren't showing up and aren't watching anymore. So yeah, we'll see. Before we hop off, I do want to talk about the USC, the Lincoln Riley thing, and the Miami kid. While we're talking NIL, the Miami point guard or shooting guard or whatever, he just straight up, like, his agent came out and said, like, if I don't get more NIL money at Miami, I'm transferring. And it just like,
and that's what the transfer portal is turning into, right?
Yeah,
like we're saying.
But that's right. So I saw Nicole Auerbach said this on Twitter, and I agreed wholeheartedly. That's not NIL. That means you're just getting paid to play. Like, right. That's not like, hey, I'm making some money off of my name, image, likeness. That is straight up, I think that I'm better than what I'm being compensated for right now. You need to pay me more for how well I'm playing. That's different.
It is different. Yeah. I mean, it's but if there's guys like that, then it's like, okay, go to the G League then.
Definitely. What are you doing in college hoops?
Right. Yeah. So I mean, that's he was from the little facts that I know, he made a poor decision to, put that out there too. Cause then, I think there'll be teams that are like, hey, you can get more money here. We like the style you play. Like, come play with us. But then there's gonna be people like, this guy just wants to get paid. Like, why would I even bother recruiting him? Go to the NBA, go to the G League or whatever.
It'll be both of those, I think.
Yeah.
I think there for sure will be teams out there that are like, I don't care what his attitude is. He's talented as shit. I'm going to take them. Mm-hmm. But you're not going to go from like Miami to like Duke or Kentucky or to like, any. I don't think that those coaches are like, yeah, I want to pay, I want to up him from $300K to $500K in NIL, so he'll come here. Like, they're going to be like,
and that's an anomaly too. Like that this kid, right, that came out. I mean, we've had a full year of NIL at this point, and that's one of the first cases we've heard. And that could just be because a lot of it hasn't gotten out there. But I don't know. I mean, kids like that, it'll either work out or it won't, and it'll all get sorted out.
Yeah. So, and then the Lincoln Riley, like,
that one's crazy.
Dude, that one scares me a little bit for college football because there's just bad shit happening behind the scenes, like, all the time. I think.
Why though? Why is that bad? I mean, this kid's like, hey, I want to make some more money, and he has an opportunity. He's given an opportunity to, it's up to him at that point.
I think that here's why I think it's bad. You fight for a kid in recruiting all year, all through his high school career. You finally land him. You can't ever feel comfortable that a guy's going to be on your roster ever. How do you as a coach keep coaching like that? And here's what I think it opens the door for. A coach, and I know for a fact this is happening right now. I heard a story about Tom Izzo with this exact same thing just the other day. They a lot of these coaches feel like they cannot coach the way that they want to and punish a kid for not running a route right, or because the kid will just be like, I'm good. If you yell at me, I'm out. Like that type of thing.
I mean, like I said, again, it'll all play out. Like if that is the attitude that kid, has, probably not going to work out for him wherever he goes. That's more of a kid issue.
Well, you know how it's not run on that basis, right? It's run on how much money can you get me today, not tomorrow.
Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't think all kids would be like that because I think these kids, granted, they're very talented, but a lot of them work very, very hard and they understand there's a method to the madness, right? Like he's yelling it. I think it'll change a lot of things too. I mean, it'll change the way coaches coach. It'll change like all this stuff, but I don't think it'll have that big of an impact where the kids have so much power to be like, all right, I'm going to sit out. And it's like, all right, fuck you, get off my team.
Yeah.
You know, like don't recruit that kind of player then. You know, then the coaches are learning a little bit, you know. That's how I feel about it.
That kid would just go to the coach who will put up with that. All right, sure, buddy, here. Right.
Exactly. And then that'll get sorted out. So then, you know, if there's a coach that'll put up with it, then put up with it. You know? Right? I mean,
I just don't love
you know what I'm saying?
I don't love the way that that's like the attitude of people.
Right. And that's just a people thing. I don't think that it's NIL that's making these people like this. I think
like
these people are already like that. And then
it's amplifying.
It's amplified. Exactly. So it's, I mean, this kid is already that type of kid, right? And now it's amplified with NIL.
Yeah.
We'd have to start taking odds on like, do you think this player who's committed to this team will actually play?
Yeah, like I feel bad for these people that are covering recruiting now. Like I don't know how you do it because it's just like every single day I'm sure there's something different.
Right.
But you know, the other thing I don't like there is like, dude, so you're telling me this kid's at Pitt, he's balling out, and then all of a sudden, like it's just gonna create all of a sudden then Lincoln Riley's just like texting him. Like, so then every time somebody does well, Nick Saban's just gonna be like, "Yep, you're good enough to come here and play at Alabama now. Come on over." Like,
sure. But I mean, like, I get what you're saying, but it's not like they can take everybody. You know, he's already recruiting really well. There, you know, you can't. It's not like he's gonna take 20 guys from all over the country, right, to like get him over there. I seriously just don't think it's as big of a deal as everybody's playing it out to be.
But then, like, why not? Right? Why would I have a recruiting class if I can see extra footage of these guys who I was going to recruit play against each other, and now my entire recruiting is just getting 1-year transfers? So then every other school just becomes, you know, the next version of high school for me.
Yeah. And if that's what happens, that's what happens. If that's a risk you're willing to take to think that you can just get transfers every year, good for you. If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, you're fucked.
That's true. Oh man.
I mean, for me, it's fun. Let it all play out. Create the disaster. Create the chaos. I mean, it'll all get sorted. You know how many guys are on fucking football teams, and how many guys that just want to play. You know, I mean, even at Michigan, there's plenty of guys.
Less and less and less every year, I think.
What?
Guys that just love football.
I mean, maybe those. I mean, it's those
still
3-star, 4-star, 3-star guys that really want to play, and then they get their opportunity.
Yeah.
And like you know, you brought up, you know, when all this data comes out, you know, people are going to look at that and have something to go off of and be like, okay, let's like, you can't just transfer because the coach is pissing you off.
Yeah.
Or whatever, because you don't want to do a certain thing because it's not going to work out for you. And when those numbers are there, then, you know, this problem is resolved.
Mm-hmm.
God, I had major deja vu.
I hear you.
That's crazy. Did you too?
So crazy.
Are we on the same, what do girls call it?
Wavelength.
Is it wavelength? The same cycle. We're on the same cycle. Deja vu cycle.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
You just said you had major deja vu.
Yeah, I was kidding.
Oh. Don't joke around about deja vu, dude.
Big deja vu guy.
Big deja vu guy.
I knew that. I knew that already. Best popcorn out there.
Dude, best popcorn in the game. I was right down the street from them this morning. Got some Bobcat Bonnies.
Oh, you go for the morning shift at Deja Vu?
Yeah, dude. That's my spot. You got the Z list out there.
The Z list.
I'm just there for the popcorn.
The Sunday morning crew at Deja Vu cannot be great.
Great personality, though.
Yeah, probably really nice girls.
Really good popcorn.
Good people. Good
Some
people.
good guys, too. Good guys.
Oh, all right.
Sunday brunch is ladies' morning.
Okay.
Yeah. I was working. I'll be honest. I was just sitting there.
Oh,
in a mankini eating popcorn out of my belly button.
Well, I apologize for that image to all of our listeners. So with that, we will shut it down here probably forever, to be honest with you. But we appreciate you guys. You can follow us at Blue by 90 on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We're on the Amazing Brew YouTube and podcast channel. We appreciate you. Go Blue.
Go Blue.
Go Blue.